Hey, everybody, welcome to Rage and Love, where we passionately debate, explore, and review topics about science, religion, history, and current events. Tonight, we're gonna do something a little bit dangerous. And you know what? It's not gonna be juggling chainsaws like Elon Musk. It's gonna be something even worse. We are going to confront the thing that you trust the most, your brain. You know, your brain lies to you constantly. It makes you see faces in clouds, Jesus in toast, your voices in static, and swear that you left your keys right there. Stress, anxiety, booze, medication, even a little bit of caffeine can bend reality. So, we're gonna pull back the curtain and see just how easy it is to fool our brains. Because the truth is, our brains are incredibly complex, but they're also really glitchy little pattern seeking machines that evolved to keep us alive. So they're not out there to give you the truth, they're just there for your survival. And our guest tonight is the wonderful Misinterpretations. There we go. Hey, Marin, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Thank
I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate you having me. This will be fun. I've been looking forward to this.
I know, me too. You know, I'm terrible because when I go on the live chats, I my brain is stuck on these are just people commenting. They're just fans. Like it doesn't
Hmm.
connect to like maybe it's a fellow content creator. Even if I see somebody that I already know makes content, my brain is just sucks and it's like so I never realized that you even had a channel until we met at NanoCon.
That's right.
And then, because
We're in the
I
elevator. We're like, wait.
right, yeah, like I knew that you were, like I would always see your name in the chat and comment and interact and so dance out on Amber's shows and the daily 80s morning shows.
Yeah.
Like I would see you everywhere, but my brain was just not being very smart about it and being like, hey, maybe she makes content. And so but yeah, I guess also because some followers have like there's like hundreds or sometimes thousands of people like on the line, right? And you have 1,000, 2,000 people in the chat, like not all of them are content creators.
Right.
So when I came back from nanocon I was like, wait, she makes content, and I checked it out and I love it so much and I really enjoyed like your
Well,
live
thank you.
shows.
Well,
And I was
thank
like,
you.
I
Yeah.
gotta have her on my show.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Same. I mean, you're like, oh, I'm terrible. You're not terrible. I do the same thing. Well, I don't want to think I'm terrible. So I'm not, I don't think you're
Okay,
terrible because I'm like,
good,
wait a
good.
minute, ways to human. Okay. I had to look you up and check you out as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of amazing creators, I think, in this space, and there's not enough time to watch everything. Right. But, it's
I
been,
know.
it's
Yeah,
been
I wish
fun
I
to
had the
learn a
time to
lot.
watch them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really love things like NanoCon because
Mhm.
like you come face to face and you make more of a connection with the people
Yeah.
that are there, right? Like sometimes you may see their content, but you don't realize that they have a more personal connection with you than what you're seeing on their channel.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
one thing that I loved learning about you was that I didn't know before is that you make music.
Yeah.
And like like you play the violin, and I was like, holy crap, that's so good. So what else
Yeah,
do you
I
play?
love it.
Do you play anything else?
I started on piano, and I actually teach piano to little kids, um, but I'm not a very good piano player. I like playing one note at a time, so, but I also play viola. I teach viola as well. So, and I teach violin. So that's what I'm doing these days is teaching music, and I'm in an Irish band, and we play about once a month, at an
Oh,
Irish pub in town, and
oh,
yeah, so and I also play in our civic orchestra, our local symphony. So
oh, a
I
lot
do
of
a lot with
stuff.
that. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. So do you have Irish background?
Yeah, actually my mom was very proud of being a Plunkett. So
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah,
cute.
and bluegrass, growing up in the South, and bluegrass's roots are in Irish music, so it's like the music of my people. So I do both as well.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
my family is not from Ireland, but we have like Scottish connections. So,
Oh, okay, cool. I know a few Scottish tunes too.
oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, like my grandma,
Um,
she was born in well, I think she was actually born in England, but like her family ancestry is from Scotland.
okay.
Um, Mary, Queen of Scots, is in our family line.
Oh, very nice, very
So we
nice.
have
Well,
like
there is a there's a Plunkett castle. It's called Castle Dunnasony. So my mom was like, "I want to go see my castle."
oh
She never got to Ireland though. I felt bad that she never got to go. But
oh
yeah, yeah, she did
sad.
travel a lot, but yeah,
Yeah,
that didn't work out.
I made plans with my mom that we are gonna meet because she lives in Switzerland. But that
Oh,
we are gonna meet someday in England and go visit like all the family connections.
that'd be
I
great.
don't
That'd
know.
be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be so
yeah,
fun. Yeah, I really. I'm hopeful. Maybe within the next few years we
yeah,
can do that.
yeah.
So you said you teach music, but
Mhm.
you also teach what biology?
I taught biology for a couple of years in I taught science in high school. I don't know, 6 or 7 years. It's hard to remember exactly because I taught at different schools. 7 years, maybe. Also taught some math, and yeah, I majored in physics in college, and
Mm.
but I didn't want to continue in that. My brain did not understand calculus at that age in my life, so I went to grad school in religion, and I have master's of theological studies and a master's
Oh,
of religion and ethics. So, but graduate school doesn't pay very well. I needed to eat, so I went back and actually for my major, I taught science. So, and I've taught almost all the sciences. It's chemistry, physics,
oh,
biology, earth science, not earth science. What was the other one? Anyway, physical science. Yeah, most of them. So,
that's cool. I
yeah.
I flunked chemistry in high school and math.
Mm,
I was terrible at it. But I think it could be because you feel that you're forced to learn that stuff in high school. So, and if you don't enjoy it,
yeah.
then you're like, well, where am I gonna ever need that? But then you grow up and you start seeing the connections between those things and the real world and the things that we experience every
Mhm.
day. I don't know, even
Mhm.
things like cooking, right? There's a lot of chemistry in
Right.
cooking.
Right.
And so I became like really, really interested in science, like all of the sciences. And I really enjoyed biology and chemistry. And then when I started homeschooling my kid, we started getting into more of astrophysics and
Yeah.
learning about space. And love Neil deGrasse Tyson, Brian Cox, like to learn way too much that I had
Yeah.
no idea about before. So it was really cool.
That
Really
is
cool.
really cool. That is really cool. It's interesting. Like I didn't understand chemistry until I had to teach it. And the first time I taught it was a little bit rough because of that. Because I
Aw.
there was things I didn't, that just didn't register with me when I was taking it. But unfortunately, I just took too many different science classes in college, and so instead of just being certified in physics and physical science, I they were like, "Oh, you teach anatomy." I'm like, "I never took anatomy. What are you doing to me?"
Oh.
But I had to teach it because I was certified in science. So, yeah.
Oh, so like they were going by, that you do have the science background, so you should
Mhm.
have like a generalized
Yeah, I should be
knowledge of
able to
it.
do it. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was crazy. So, yeah. But I had really good teachers that I worked with. Science teachers were really we pretty much had to work together. We shared labs and that kind of thing, and I just feel like science teachers are really good about supporting each other. Yeah. So
Yeah, Forrest Valkai. He's also a science teacher for high
Love
school, I think.
Forest. Yeah.
Right? Oh, he's so amazing. Like I love watching his content and stuff. And I've met him twice in person, and
Oh,
both
cool.
times my teenager was with me. And once last year and once this year in Austin.
Hmm.
And both times you could tell that he's a teacher, and that he's passionate about it. He's not just like those grumpy teachers that do it for the check. Like
Yeah.
he loves
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
he has a really good um connection with the kids. Like he knows how to speak to them without making them feel like they're little kids,
Right. Right.
like yeah.
Yeah. He's excellent. I
So
want to be like him when I grow up.
same.
I
Big
always wanted to be
fan.
that kind of teacher, but it's when you're in the grind of teaching a public school, it's all you can do just to get papers graded and and really try to stick with things. So I always thought I was when retired I would go back and just volunteer at public school and help science teachers with labs and grading and stuff like that because they have way too much to do. They just do. So I haven't done that. Haven't totally retired yet. So that's where. But yeah, they need help. It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. It's hard being a teacher. That's why I prefer to do it online on video.
Hmm.
Like obviously, I don't have the degrees and credentials to be a teacher, but I like
But
science
you're guiding
communication.
the education of your child. Yeah, yeah,
Right, right,
yeah.
and I really enjoy learning so much. And I don't know, I have a thing for reading studies, and especially with medical stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like I can read it and understand it, and I probably couldn't repeat like all the wording, but I like my brain translates it into a more simplified version that other people could understand,
Yeah.
without having to read out of the technical terms. And so I was like, okay, that's something that I can do,
Yeah. You're
like I
really
can
good at
help.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I can try to help people with, because sometimes you don't have the time to like read an entire big biology book about the brain and stuff, right?
There's not a lot of people who read those articles for fun, those scientific articles for fun. I mean, unless you are actually, a research scientist or teaching or, so it's yeah, yeah, I get it though. I like to dabble in a little bit of that myself, but yeah, you've done a lot with that, so it's great.
Yeah, I think for me it was I kind of had to, because I had a lot of health issues, and we know
Mhm.
American healthcare is not the best. And despite what they're trying to say, immigrants do not get free healthcare, or have access to any type of government healthcare. Obviously, privatized healthcare is so
Mhm.
expensive that most immigrants cannot pay for that, because it's like your
Absolutely.
your whole car payment or your whole mortgage payment.
Yeah.
And so when I first moved here, I had nothing, but I had so many health issues that had to be dealt with. And so
Mhm.
we will go to like this little free clinics sometimes every now and then
Mhm.
and get some help. So I had to like start researching what was going on, and a couple of the health issues that I had, I sort of self-diagnosed, and then I had to
Mhm.
go to the doctor at the free clinic and be like, "Hey, I think this is it." And then
Yeah.
they were great about listening, actually. So
Yeah.
that was a
That's
good
good.
thing. And they would test me. I'm like, well, turns out you were right. so
Yeah,
the
yeah. Yeah,
so I
yeah,
think that's
it's amazing. Yeah, it's that is the way to do it, though. You really need to be your own advocate in our health system, because it's especially if you have um, more hidden type of ailments, right?
condition.
That you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's difficult to.
Yeah, I have like
Yeah.
the whole laundry list of them.
I got a few myself, so I gotcha. Yeah, it's something. So
um, so anyway, so today we are gonna talk about brains, because everybody already knows that I love brains, and I
you
kind of wish
do.
everybody had one. But so before we start that, I will give sort of a quick lesson on how the brain works, because it's important to remember, as we have this conversation, and
Hmm.
also for educational purposes. Um, so our brain is kind of a network, all right, and it contains some 80 something billion neurons. And these neurons can produce a combination of over 100 trillion different connections. And the connections are called synapses. So the synapses transmit electrical and chemical signals between the neurons. And when we are learning something new, or when we repeat the same action over and over and over, like as a career or whatever job you do, or when you're studying, that's why we repeat things so many times when we're teaching kids something, right?
Hmm.
What happens is the neurons fire together and they strengthen their connections that form these pathways. It's like, one example would be learning to ride a bicycle. If you don't practice it often, you're going to become a little bit clumsy at it and you may fall more often because the skill is weakening, because the connection in your brain has weakened. Um, Myself, I learned sign language when I was in college, but I don't practice it with anybody. So I, I haven't fully lost it, but I have a pretty hard time understanding people that are signing really fast at the same speed that they would have been signing when I first learned it, right? Like, and when I first
Hmm.
learned it, because I was practicing it, because I was going to the classes, it was a lot easier to get that fluency of the hand movements, the facial expressions, the different sentence structure. And
Right.
so, because I haven't practiced it in so long, the neural connections, the neural pathways that were made during that time of study are becoming weak. And so I think this is probably where that saying comes from. Practice makes perfect, right? Because it, you know, I don't think it ever becomes perfect. It's
Yeah,
more
you
like,
we say in, music teaching is practice makes permanent.
I love that. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that is way better. Because
Mhm.
like the more you practice, the more the stronger these neural pathways become, and
Right.
so it's less likely that that skill will wear itself out over time. So once you have a very solid foundation for your skill, for like whether it be music or a language or a career, whatever you do, then it becomes much stronger. So yeah, practice definitely improves skill, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so on the other side of that, we have emotions and thoughts. And these arise from the interactions between different parts of the brain, different regions of the brain that manage different things, right? And so the chemicals that are released by the neurons, which are called neurotransmitters. One example would be dopamine. That's the one that most people will know of, which is the um, reward and motivation neurotransmitter. Serotonin, that gives you joy and balances your moods, keeps you from being depressed or keeps you from being anxious. Um, Norepinephrine, which you need that when you're in a dangerous situation or when you're scared because it keeps you alert. And so all of these, so there's some more, but let's just do the basic ones. Like together, these create what we could call like a chemical language of feelings, and it's kind of the same as practicing a skill. The more that neurotransmitter gets produced, the more likely you are to crave it more and to have that response. That's how addiction happens, right? One that would be one good example.
Mhm.
Um, it can develop if it's something like too low or too high levels naturally that happen that can lead to anxiety, can lead to depression. It can also affect the way that you experience the world around you. Um, and because every thought and experience slightly changes your brain. When you're having new experiences, that can mean that your brain wiring is going to be changing. Like,
Mhm. Did I freeze or did AJ freeze? Oh no. What happened? Oh, girl. Am I? I can't. I guess. Why is that? What's happening? I can't tell if I'm on or not. I guess I am not. Let me go on Discord. Am I on? Okay, you can see me. I'm just sitting here going, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, AJ's computer restarted. Excellent. Thank you for letting me know because I'm just like, was it me or is it AJ? Okay. Hi. All right. So, oh, here she's back. Here she's okay.
I
I'm sitting here
know.
going, am
Like,
I on? Am I on? I'm glad I didn't pick my nose. That would be not good.
I
So,
see. I see Hunter Biden's laptop on the chat. It was Biden's fault. It was all Biden's fault.
no. I'm like, what's going on?
Oh,
Okay. All
gosh.
righty.
I
As
have
I
no idea. My computer just did a long beep and then it turned itself off for no reason. So, okay.
Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
I
Whew.
was looking at the chat, maybe hoping somebody would say something sooner while I'm sitting there going, wonder what's going on. It's okay,
I
guys. Thank you.
no.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Okay.
like, I was hoping it wasn't like permanent because sometimes your computers just like yeah, for whatever reason they just, hey, I don't want to work anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's funny. All right. Thank you guys for being patient with us.
Oh gosh, yes, thank you.
You were
I'm
on a
so
roll
sorry,
too,
man.
AJ. You were on a roll. You were like, I'm giving you an A on brain anatomy and function.
I know. I was just getting to the good part too. Uh, oh yeah, he said it was me and my anti-fire hard drives. It
That's right.
was,
That's right,
yeah.
Jay.
I mean, we had to blame somebody here, okay?
Mhm, mhm.
Oh gosh.
It was
Okay.
the they, the big they. That's what Forging Thought said. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think hopefully I get this at the last part of what I was saying was that like all of our thinking and our experiences change the way that our brain is wired. And so this means that we can heal, we can learn new things, we can unlearn the things that we shouldn't no, like hate, for example,
Mm, mhm,
because hate is learned. Hate is learned. Let's face it. And so it doesn't matter what age you are. You have that capacity and that ability to rewire your brain and recreate yourself, basically. So
mhm.
no more excuses for being an asshole.
Hmm.
So I don't know how like familiar you are with the brain science a little bit.
I've learned a little bit about brain science, a little bit.
Okay, so
So,
what would you say? When I think about the way our brains work, it, as I said in the beginning, I think it's more so for survival than it is for seeking truth.
mm,
Like, do you think that's accurate to say that our brains evolved for survival
I
mostly?
I 100% agree with that. And I think what I've learned more over the past couple of years is me trying to become a better person and understanding how my brain works and how I can work with it better to like be a better human, right? Um, I I think there's a whole lot that our brain tells us uh, that's just screaming, "You're gonna die." So we do a lot of reacting in life, I think, because of that. Because it's like, you know, when we have reactions or overreactions or very strong emotions, very strong feelings, many times it's not the situation. It can be the situation that's right in front of us. Many times it's not the situation right in front of us. Many times there's some type of trigger, right, that is saying this is dangerous, you're going to die, right? And so and not understanding that there's a whole lot of our brain also that does not have language, right? That's only part of our brain. I mean, it's an amazing part of our brain and it helps make us who we are, right? But there's so many times where we react to something or we do something, but there's not the language part of our brain that actually can explain that. And you probably know about the experiments with um, cutting into the corpus callosum, probably, for epilepsy patients and that type of course, they used to do lobotomies for to try to control women. But other than that, but
Hysterical woman.
yeah, exactly. But but showing the experiments where they show something to one side of the brain versus the other side of the brain, and the part of the brain that had language, you know, can explain some things, but then the part that doesn't had to kind of figure out, a way to convey the information that is shown to only one side of the brain. I'm being very general. We don't have to talk about all the details of it, but the point I'm making is that yes, the goal is to keep the brain working, right? And to keep the brain alive. And keeping us alive. So yeah, I think, and it's hard, I think, for a lot of people to accept that animal part of who we are, because it's another story our brain tells us, right? That, oh, I can rise above that. But yeah, I think
We are
that's
modern humans.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And we think that what we think is the way things are. And so much of the time it's just not, it's just not true. But that was a part of, like, I was thinking about this today when I was thinking about about our talk today, about the in group out group kind of stuff, and we'll probably get into a little bit of that as well. But some of that in group out group function of it is so that the society that we happen to be in can survive. And those kinds of those kinds of ideas, those kinds of philosophies, the kinds of beliefs that make us in our group and not your group can be so very strong because they, I think, evolved to help that particular society work and work together. Yeah. So some of those, so we think that that's the way that the world is. And if you get an opportunity to travel to different countries and travel and see different cultures, it's like, oh, they don't think that same way. They don't, you know, that's for
Different.
me was one of the first times I was like, oh, people are different and it's okay. So,
Yeah, and I think that's why one of the reasons why so many people deconvert from religion when they go to college, because first you're raised with your family, then obviously as a teenager as well, and so within your community that your family exposes you to, because generally speaking most kids majorly depend on their parents for transportation, right? So
mhm,
if you're going to be a part of a group, then it's going to be church, or it's going to be a group that your parents picked for you and exposed you to it, and were careful about what they were exposing you to. Like, if it's somebody um, that doesn't think kids should be involved in, I don't know, whatever, robotics, then they're not going to expose them to that. But so when you go to college, that's like your first experience that's very individual, and
mhm,
you're learning about people that you weren't exposed to as a kid. Myself, growing up in Argentina, I didn't even know what a trans person was until I was like 15, when I moved to the US, and I was more exposed to that, culture, and to seeing other types of people than what I was used to. And I'll clarify that we lived in an extremely rural area. There was
mhm.
a middle school and a store, and there wasn't even a church, or there wasn't any type of other shops. It was just like farms, and so it was
Wow.
a lot of the same type of people, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was a very small community, and that's all I was exposed to. And so moving to the US was like a complete culture shock.
Yeah, I bet.
But that's why I think that's why people deconvert from religion when they go to college, because they begin to expose themselves to other types of people that they
Mhm.
weren't exposed to before, and they were like, "Whoa, they are cool. They're
Yeah,
nice.
they're good people.
They're like not
Yeah.
trying to, misguide me or anything like that." So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Did I answer your question? I don't, maybe
Oh
you were
yeah, yeah,
asking
yeah.
that.
You
Okay.
did, for sure, for sure.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Um, let's see. There's a comment. Experience, life, evolve, emotion. I like that. That's cool. Yeah. So there's another thing related to that instinct that humans have, that comes from our past ancestors' experiences, right? The way they were not the modern type of humans, or the modern type of life that we have right now, so they didn't have all of the same tools that we do. And so things like, hey, that rustle in the grass over there must be a predator, is
Right.
something that stuck with us, but we use it with modern society in mind, right? Like, if you hear
Mm,
something, then it's probably, maybe somebody's following you, or maybe so, like, if you hear a boom, then it might be a gun, maybe somebody shot,
right,
right?
right.
And so, that's something they wouldn't have back in caveman days. um like a bang would have been like a rock or something. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but so there's this thing, there's this term that I learned from Richard Gilliver, and it's called pareidolia. So, which is like, your brain sort of recognizes different patterns. Um, like, if we didn't have that, we will probably have to relearn the shapes of words, the shapes of letters. Sorry, like every time we look at it, right?
Mhm,
Like, it
mhm.
wouldn't be that, like, we see that little shape and you're like, oh, it must be an A. And every time we meet somebody, if we didn't have that pareidolia sense in our minds, then we wouldn't remember that person. So it's
Right.
like a, yeah, so it's like a pattern recognition method that the brain uses. And but sometimes it uses it in situations that it shouldn't be, right? Like for example, when we see faces or shapes in objects, like in the
Right.
clouds, in the trees, and the toast and stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but it's also used through our hearing, like different hearings, like you smell, and it tries, like it makes our brain sort of recognize things that are familiar or similar to a pattern that we already knew, and so it's just kind of trying to make sense of an external stimulus. I don't know. It can be something like if you see something dark of the side of your vision,
Hmm.
then you might think, if you're a believer, you might think it's a ghost.
Right.
If you're not, then you're like, well, was is somebody else in the house? Was it
Hmm. Hmm.
did somebody
And that
break
protects
in
you,
and
right? That protects you, right? Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
why? So but that's what we were talking about earlier. Like our brains are not wired for truth, because if you see that shape or you hear that sound, your immediate reaction isn't the most logical. To where, oh, maybe it's a speck of dust, or that just came too close to my vision. You're
Hmm.
like, it's danger. And so the brains are mostly wired for survival rather than for truth, which is why it's so easy to fool them. So
Right.
before the show started, we were talking about a book that you read.
Oh, right.
Um, did you want to talk about that? Because that was really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I've been reading John Wathy's book, Wathey, and he's got two that I'm almost finished the first one, and I've partway through the second one because I read more than one book at a time. Anyway, the first one's called The Illusion of God's Presence, and the other one is The Phantom God. And I'm going to be debunking myself in a couple of over the next couple of months because um I did a video about synesthesia and spirituality, and like I was proposing that this sense of God's presence like might be like a synesthesia where, okay, so you were talking about the 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 pathways in the brain, these synapses
Hmm.
work together, and you learn something, right? And that and the idea about synesthesia is there are some neuroscientists that think that the infant is like living in a psychedelic world, and the synapses are actually it's a process of pruning synapses, that we don't need these, and so some people end up seeing like numbers being a particular color, like 3 is always orange or 5 is always purple or something like that. So, and it happens to be that in the brain where you process color is close to where you recognize numbers. And so it's possible that those synapses never got pruned actually. And a lot of people with different types of synesthesia, they don't even know that they have it. And so they don't really talk about it, but then when somebody mentions something about it, they're like, oh yeah, yeah, I guess. So you can have different tastes with different sounds. I mean, there's just lots of different ways that the sensory system kind of gets um hijacked, not hijacked, but just it's like it's different. So one thing that I when I was learning about it and reading about it for myself, I have a particular spatial synesthesia, spatial time kind of, which I had, and other people may do this and not even know it, but for myself, I have always felt like August was on my right, here, and that the
Wow.
calendar would go from right to left, which is odd because days of the week go left to right, right. We read everything. But
Mhm.
August is the beginning of the year and it's in front of me. And then, like, right in front of me is December and January. And then June and July are kind of behind me. So I experience
Wow.
the months of the year in different places when I'm thinking about them. Is that the, yeah. I
That's
don't,
really interesting because there's this trick that I learned a while back, um, to how to remember different things, right? And so
mhm,
you basically walk around the house, and different rooms have different words or numbers or whatever you want to remember. And
yeah.
so because your brain already has mapped the house pretty, strong, like it has a pretty strong map version in your
Mhm,
brain.
mhm.
If you add that word, letter, number to that room, then you can somehow in your brain do a walk around through your house, and each one of those will be in that room or whatever.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
helps people like remember patterns and stuff like that. So that
yeah,
reminds me of that, of like the months
exactly.
being in different locations. Sort of, that's really cool. That's really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and some people are not really visual. Most people are visual and they can see things in their mind's eye, right? And so if they are able to do that, and if they dream, then those are visual things can be very helpful in learning. So, and adding the spatial part to it, that's a very helpful way of learning stuff too. Like, I was told I learned, I think it was the Anthony Robbins, talking about memory and stuff. I don't know, it was a long time ago, but like I was always losing my keys, and he was like, when you set your keys down, blow up whatever it is, like pretend like it's exploding, and you actually see it, like, okay, I'm blowing up the coffee table, right? And so then you can remember where your keys are, but you have to remember to blow it up. So I don't know, that's not that doesn't always work when you just
Well,
ADHD, throw your keys around and think,
yeah.
oh my goodness. So anyway, but so the John Wathy books, basically, he talks about like the anthropological. The first one is like the anthropological understanding of that sense that I was trying to describe, might be like a synesthesia, because there's some people that don't really feel God's presence, but I've really felt like I have felt God's presence, right? So the the first book is more the anthropological reasons why we might have that sense, and then the second book is more the the actual science behind it, the chemicals and the different types of studies. So he's like done a huge amount of research on all of that. But his main point in this case is there's two. He thinks that there are two main roots of religious experience. One is what he calls the neonatal root, and it's that innate uh, neonatal, like when you're an infant, you you expect there to be a bigger presence out there that can take care of you. Otherwise, we wouldn't cry as infants when we needed something, right? So it's part of the basic. We're not a tabula rasa, right? We're not just a blank slate and learning everything. We come into this world expecting to be taken care of, and having a sense of mother, right, or caretaker, and crying is going to like bring that to you, right, bring that caretaker to you, and we need that connection. So that, and there's a lot of different explanations of that, but I have my own personal experience with something like that. I was thinking of the other day, my mother passed away like 5 years ago, and she passed away at home. My brothers and my dad and I were in the den, waiting for the funeral home to come and take her, and they came, and we were just talking, and they said a couple times, they're like, well, we're going to bring her through here, so if you want to go in the other room and talk. And we're like, no, we're fine. Oh, we're fine. So we were just talking, and um so they put her on the gurney and they wheeled her past us out the door. And as soon as the door shut, we all looked at each other and we were like, "Did you feel that?" Like it was a really palatable feeling that my mom had left the house.
Uh,
Like she was in the room next to us, but it was like, and I've never had that, feeling, right, of her being there again. But it was just like, and if so for and it was actually my mom, right? So having that sense of, oh, my mom is in the house, she's here somewhere, right? And then her being gone, she's out the door. That was a really, I can't explain it, right? I mean, she had already passed away. It was not like she was actually, right. So anyway, that was the that was the but it's a description of that kind of feeling. But so he likens it to all kinds of things, like a lot of times people will actually feel God's presence in the room, and often it is when they're under a lot of stress, a lot of duress, and they are, just not knowing what to do, right? Feeling really, really lost in the world and everything. So it could be, um, that sensing that presence. Yeah, pragmatic Crystal, you're everywhere. I love you, girl. It could have been the realization, yeah, that she was never going to be there again. Yeah, that true. But I'm telling you, it was a physical feeling. It was like, it was a physical type of, it seemed to me like my brain was express feeling it that way, and my brothers were the same. And I mean, you can test this a little bit for yourself, like like you're standing in line at the grocery store and somebody's standing behind you, you can kind of tell, if they're there, and and you're like, "Oh, okay." And then you can turn around and they're not there. And it's like, wait a minute, I really thought
yeah.
they were still there, but they went off and, went to another line or something. Um, it may happen with you that way too, but it's just a different sense, even in your own home. Like, when you know somebody else is in the house and then you know that they leave. I don't know. It may just be me, but but I do think that there's something to that. And then his John Wathy's description is more like the social root of religion is the like more the rules and the structure and the to dos and the to don'ts and what makes you part of the in group and what makes you part of the out group. Um, and and his point is that it's his idea that may be the reason why our perception of God is like the loving, caring, giving, there to care for you, parent. And then there's also that same God can also be wrathful and, um,
Vengeful.
yeah, vengeful. And if you're not in line, then, if you're not in, sta- you know, you're not in line, you're out. And the worst thing to do to a human is exile. I really, really believe that, because in our core, as we grew up through all of the ages, not being part of the society is a death sentence. So that's why I feel like there's a lot that our brain says you're gonna die.
But yeah, it's that sense of danger. And I think what you just mentioned about kids seeing God as the caretaker. Well, not necessarily God. Like they first see their parents as the caretaker, and I think the parents see God as their caretaker, and so they expect that when the child grows into an adult, then they will, God will protect them, and whereas the parent loses that ability a little bit. So it may
Hmm.
be like a thing of comfort as well, for both the
Hmm.
parent and the child, which is a necessary thing that all humans crave, that comfort. Uh,
Absolutely,
of
absolutely. And when you have um things that you just can't understand, right? It in a way it puts you into not necessarily this, right? But it can put the brain into a more infantile state, right? Of like, just because there's so much as an infant, as a young thing, that we don't understand. And and so it just, to me, I mean, I haven't gotten through all of the books yet, but it makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to me. And it also gives me a lot of compassion for believers, right? That, because I was one just about a year ago, I'm not very far away from like, yeah, this doesn't really make sense to me anymore. I made it make sense for a long time, but that it just makes a lot of sense. And some people, they're apologists that will talk about, the God-shaped hole in your heart, right? And that only
Yeah.
God can fill that. And that language makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, um, in the way that we have survived, right? It's part of our survival mechanism. So,
Yeah, because we are social creatures and we need that ability to be connected with others. And I think
mhm,
God, God, like a God belief sort of provides that for some people. Because we're
mhm,
like, okay, we all believe in the same
mhm,
deity. Yeah, so
right.
but that's another part of it. We were talking earlier as well before the show about this field of science called neurotheology, where they're doing studies to see how to recreate the feeling that somebody gets when they experience God, when they experience any visions of or prophecies or other supernatural emotions. I don't know if I should call it supernatural emotions. Maybe well,
Senses, maybe, or
yeah,
experiences.
sensations. Yeah, like
Mhm,
when like what you had, right? It
mhm.
it feels very physical to you because
Yes.
you feel that you have some sort of connection with with your mother. um I had a sort of supernatural experience when my father-in-law passed away. I was a believer at the time, and so we came home from the funeral and we walked into their house, into my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house, and he will always be sitting on the porch and kind of every time we'll sort of say it the same way, how y'all doing, like in a Texas accent. And so I walk in, as I'm walking past the porch, I clearly hear him saying that. And for years, I clung onto that he spoke to me.
Yeah.
But the more I learn about the brain, the more I realize that, well, first of all, I'm deaf and I did not have my cochlear implant at the time. So while I did use a hearing aid, it was a lot easier for me to like hear him say it when he was very close to me, like physically, at a short distance.
Mhm.
And to me, I was like, okay, well, if he wasn't there physically, well, obviously, could it have been, his spirit? That's what you think when you're a
Right.
believer. But
Absolutely.
then I'm like, well, now that I know how the brain works and how memories are consolidated, how our brain processes all of these thoughts in our dreams, which is where
Mhm.
memories are consolidated. And so, if our brain is able to make up all of these things while we dream, is understandable that the same could happen while we're awake. That sometimes connections are made
Right.
that shouldn't have been made, that perhaps because of other extenuation circumstances, like we were just at the funeral, right?
Right.
Everybody was very emotional,
Emotional. Yes.
tired from lack of sleep, stressed out about the whole um, getting everything together for that day, anxious about the future. What are we gonna
Mhm.
do? We were thinking about having to move in with my mother-in-law, and so like it's clear that my brain was experiencing a whole lot more than what it could process. And so
Mhm.
it's understandable that there could have been some connections made that were not meant to be there. And, it could have been just a memory that the brain
Mhm.
just brought back and just a
Right.
voice that I had already heard before.
Right.
Because it wasn't like like he said something I'd never heard before. It was his voice and everything, but it was something that was, now that I think about it, it was something that was more than likely, pre-recorded in my brain, and it was just replaying at that moment,
Mhm.
kind of like
Mhm.
when you have a flashback, right?
Right. 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 And you were in that space, right? That spatial memory, right, adds to that. So along with all the emotion, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that that would happen for sure.
Yeah, and so also like we were saying earlier, there's like when you were talking about synesthesia,
Mhm.
there are certain things that can be smells, they can be sounds, they can be tactile experiences that will literally bring us back to a moment that we've experienced at another time. And
Yeah.
you can even feel the physical um, sensations that you
Mhm.
felt at that time. I don't know, it can happen to people who have, very traumatic experiences of like experiencing
Right.
pain or sexual abuse, or things
Mhm.
that they can physically feel somebody grabbing them or something like that. For me, one of those things is when I smell hand sanitizer, like a specific brand of it. It takes me back to my kid being in the hospital and having her
Mhm.
surgeries. So it's like, for me, it can arise like a sense of like my muscles get tense, and
Mhm.
I feel like the emotions, and sometimes it can even feel like cold, like hospital rooms are cold, and it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like that momentary thing where one tiny thing triggers all of these same chemical releases that you had at that moment,
Yeah.
like the same
Yeah.
chemicals that were released at that time, maybe at a lower level, but trying to like recreate that same experience, and so it can
Yeah.
happen that way.
Yeah. So one thing that this is making me think of is that the filling in the blanks part, which I think is like I think connecting to what you're getting ready to talk about, but is the our brain fills in the story, it fills in the blanks for the things that we don't know. So your experience with your father-in-law, as as a believer, that might have just been him communicating with you, right? Or the so I think it's interesting that agency that you were talking about. Like, if there's a rustling in the bush, it's very advantageous for us to assume that there's an agent there, right? Uh, because if there is and it's dangerous, then we can skedaddle, right? And but if it's less advantageous for anybody, it just happened today. My dog saw outside. It was a cushion for a chair, and it was moving in the wind, and he was barking at it, right? Because even the dog knows what's supposed to be animated and what is not, right?
Right.
It's like, why, like barking at that, it's like that is not, that's something's moving that, right? And so he was barking at whatever could have been moving it. So infants have that sense too of what's animate and what's not, like what's human or what's animal and what isn't. um and it is an evolutionary advantage for us to have that,
Have
right?
that,
To
yeah,
be
for
able to
sure.
know the difference. Yeah. Yeah. But the stories that we tell in explaining what something could be, especially something that's tied to very high emotion, if we don't know what it is, human brains don't really like that. They don't like to not know. And so many times we fill in the blanks. We fill in the and we do it with agency as well. It's like that I'm thinking that you're thinking that this is not a good idea, right? Even without having a conversation about it or something. You know what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
we were able to sense, and there's the empathy part, right? We are able to sense what somebody else might be thinking because we have a relationship with them and we know. But then a lot of times we can make assumptions, right? And they aren't the right things, but it's the story that our brain fills in the gaps with. So
Yeah, and speaking of danger, things like adrenaline, right, which was released in the brain, and then cortisol can change, like the higher levels of it can
Mhm.
change how we see, how we hear, and how we even remember things. Because
Mhm.
if you think about it, during a really stressful event or situation that you're in, the release of all of these hormones and chemicals tells the brain to, hey, pay attention right now because this is really important, right? Like this is
Mhm. Mhm.
dangerous. And
Yeah.
so this also triggers the release of another neurotransmitter called noradrenaline, and it helps in memory consolidation. So which is like how your brain sort of records and saves your memories. It
Mhm.
mostly, like the majority of it happens while we sleep, but it but depending on how you experience that, your brain puts that ahead of the rest of the memories. If it's, I don't know.
Yeah. Right, because if
Um,
it's there to protect you, if it's something that's causing, right, a fear response because it's trying to protect you, then those memories are gonna be more important, right? And those triggers more quick to come about.
right, like if you're, I don't know, having dinner with a friend and you are having a really heated argument, your brain is going to tag that one as the most important part of the whole situation. And you may both even remember it differently, right?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
depending on your state of mind. Like you
Right.
may be perceiving it as a harsh conversation, but your friend may perceive it as just another disagreement, right? And
Banter
so
or something. Yeah, yeah.
right, like for their brain, it's not gonna record as strongly as for you because you were experiencing it as a harsher interaction, right? And so
Right.
what happens is, like, let's say in a more dangerous situation, when all of these neurotransmitters and hormones are released, it makes stronger connections in your brain between the neurons, the brain pathways that we were talking about.
Mhm.
And so for example, the amygdala is the one that's like the alarm system, that, but that
Yes.
has, it is connected to memory consolidation. That's
Right.
why, like what I'm saying, like emotional, stressful, and scary memories are stored so much more vividly than a nice afternoon in the park where you are just reading a book calmly, like you're
Right.
gonna
Right.
remember. Yeah, like unfortunately for us, it means that traumatic experiences are recorded with so much more vividness and
Right.
viv- okay, I'm sorry, I just made up a random word. um I don't even know if that's a word, like
What did you say?
vividly, I say vividness. Maybe
Vividness.
vividly.
I don't know, I'm from the South, we make up words all the time, so
I think I meant to say vividly, like
okay.
we remember them more vividly. Yeah, there you
Mhm.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's, the the thing that I keep thinking about in this conversation that we're having is that the just like the truth, like our brains don't always, right, tell us the truth. They also don't tell time that well, I think. And so, like, something that happened to you decades ago, oh, vividness is a word. See,
Oh,
you got it. No worries.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate it. I wish
um,
were.
but yeah, so like when we talk about these traumatic experiences and these very strong feelings and memories associated with that, it can take you right back to being that age where something, that particular thing happened, right? And so like the i think I think the brain just doesn't really necessarily always understand time, and
That's true.
especially in this system that it's using to protect us from something um, dangerous, or what it perceives to be as danger, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's got to be able to tell you like right away that this is something that you need to react to, and this is something that you need to get away from, or whatever you need to react to in order to protect yourself so that you won't die. And so so the becoming an adult and becoming more emotionally in tune, or in tune with emotions that come up, um it that's the part of that adult learning process, I think, that our forebrain can help us with, when the midbrain and the lizard brain, right, they're there reacting. But it's why, like, being able to go, "Oh, I'm having a really strong reaction," right? And not actually necessarily lashing out at somebody, but like this, like, why am I having such a strong emotion? Why am I having such a strong feeling? Why does my skin feel like it's on fire at the moment, right? Being able to recognize in yourself what physical reactions you might have to an emotional trigger, right, is it's a really hard work, because what created the trigger in the first place was something that was really not hard work, right? Our brains do that very easily in order to protect us. But when we're trying to realize, oh, this reminds me of a time where my brothers used to tease me and make fun of me, and I thought that, they really hurt my feelings, and so now I'm going to yell at you. Because, and they don't even know that they triggered that particular really strong feeling, because my brain doesn't have time. My brain just thinks, oh, this is just like that, so it must be happening right now, and everything is happening now, and so therefore I'm going to feel like the way I did then. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's very it's very hard. We have neuroplasticity, which is what you were talking about before. We can
Mhm.
make new synapses, we can make new ways to understand particular memories and deal with trauma. There's a lot of ways to do that, but it is work, right, to undo some of that.
It is because, like we also mentioned earlier, when you repeat an action, or when an action is repeated on you, as is the case of, let's say, childhood abuse, then
Hmm.
that neural pathway connection is a lot stronger, and so it's a lot harder to weaken it and remake new connections, and it's a lot of work. It can be a whole
Yeah,
lot of work.
yeah.
So there was a comment. I'm so sorry, Fortune. That says, I lost my daughter on July 10th, 2011 at 6:51 a.m. and it legitimately feels like it happened this morning, every morning. That's hard. I'm
I'm
so
so
sorry about
sorry.
that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and
And
yeah, that is what we were just talking about a moment ago, right?
hmm,
When things that are so incredibly emotional, and that releases all of these brain chemicals that make it an even more vivid memory, then
hmm, hmm,
you're going to continue reliving that over and over again,
yeah,
because, like, it may be just a small thing that triggers you, which could be literally just waking up and being
hmm,
like, well, she's no longer here, and that will
right.
trigger all the whole set of emotions again. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
so
that kind of,
sorry.
yeah, unfortunately, that kind of grief is just, um I mean, grief, I don't think it ever ends. It may change
It's
shapes,
very a
but it's,
very weird thing on the planet, grief. It's a
yeah,
very weird thing. It really is. Yeah, it definitely has no time. It definitely has no time.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we were talking about a moment ago about how all of these things keep us safe and help with
Mhm.
survival. And one thing that can make us misinterpretations now, like misinterpret uh, a situation, can be anxiety and panic. I
Mhm.
used to suffer panic attacks uh, years ago,
Mm. Mhm.
way better now. But, like, it can make you completely misunderstand things that somebody else is telling you. like that person may be completely not a threat, and but you see their facial expressions and like you misunderstand it as being threatening, or the person being upset at you or
Yes.
coming for you, and it's not, you know, it's not the reality, it's just what your brain is telling you based on how it is running at that moment and what neurochemicals are running the most at that moment.
Yeah.
um yeah, it's really hard. And speaking of that, like we've talked about a couple of different ways that our brain can be easily fooled and how we can how it can change the way we experience the world. And I think that one of the most clear ones is drugs and alcohol. Like
Mm.
you have things like stimulants that block when two neurons are when one neuron is releasing the neurotransmitters to go to the other one. After the other one uses it up, then it comes back and it gets re-uptaken by the original one that sent it out. And
Hmm.
so what stimulants do is they block all of
Yeah.
those neurochemicals from going back. And
Hmm.
so it's like constantly allowing it to re-enter the first one because it's just like, well, it's not going back, so then it's got to go the other way. And
Yeah.
so they like overload you with that. And on the opposite end, you have the presents, which are slow down the actual production and transmission of the neurotransmitters in the first place. So there's less of it, and you're
Mhm.
like, you know, a lower functioning, dumbed down version of yourself. Like
Right.
alcohol is more be a great example of that.
Right. Slurred speech, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, like our senses, have, as we just discussed, are already pretty finicky about the smallest of changes. So when you introduce something so extreme as alcohol, is is a whole other story. Right there, people can have like hallucinations, which
Hmm.
is actually, you can actually have hallucinations like daily, right? It's kind of like you know, if you hear a knock on the door or you hear the phone ring or you see a shadow and like
Yeah.
it's not actually, and you go to the door and nobody's there. It's kind of like a small hallucination. It could be something else that made that sound, and it could be a mix of pareidolia with a sort of hallucination thing. But like like I said,
Hmm.
you know, with my father-in-law, sometimes your brain may replay a memory on its own, and you don't
Yeah.
realize, and it feels like the surround sound like it's happening in
Real.
real life, but it's really
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just in your brain.
Yeah.
um so let's see, I have a some little games that we could play. Let me see if I
Hmm.
can pull
Are we
this
going to
up.
fool our brains? We're
We're
going to
gonna
fool.
try.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Okay.
try. Okay, so I'm pulling it up real quick because got the right size. See if you can do this. Share my screen. Okay.
Cool.
So this first one is
Mm.
like you're supposed to stare at it and look at each of the circles. And what do you notice something when you're looking at different ones?
Um, yes. Well, first of all, it's moving. It's pretty much moving. Uh,
Right? Yeah, I can see
and then
that.
and the circles change from a darker blue to a lighter one, like in the centers to me, like those are moving more. So,
Oh, you're
um,
right. I think like the ones of the side of my eye look darker when I'm not looking at them.
mm,
I just noticed that too. Yeah.
it's like they're switching, but it's part of the motion part. So, but I have, but my eyes aren't completely stereo. They don't always move exactly the the same. But it makes me tired when I read. Because of
Oh,
that,
okay.
the words can jump around on the page, but that's part of that. So, but are they? They're not so. what's happening for you? What does it look like?
Yeah, I see them sort of turning like this, like moving, right? Is that how you
Yeah.
see them moving?
Yeah,
Like in a circular?
and kind of but they kinda go back and forth. They don't, like, spin as to me. They're
Yeah, it's
just
only like
kind of moving.
partially.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm seeing the same thing. Um
'Cause of the direction. Because it's arrows are yeah, so we partly, Kyle read, "What a drip." I know, and that's just a picture.
I know. It's like, but then you also have to consider that people have different, like their different senses work at different levels, right? Like you say, with your eyes are, were moving a little bit different. And
Mhm.
for me, it's like I was blind for several years, and then I had corneal transplant of both of my eyes, so I can
Mm.
see better, but I see better at a distance than I do up close. Um,
Mm.
so it's like that can affect how you view things. There's that one, with the purple, no purple, gold and white dress
Oh,
thing.
right. Yeah.
Like for me, it was really hard to see when my vision was really bad because it was just super blurry. Uh,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
see.
Okay, I'm ready for you to be going on to something different.
Okay, let's see.
Be careful not to get hit. Oh, cool. Okay, what's going
Oh,
on?
okay. So this one says um, it includes a circle of pink dots arranged like clock face against the gray background, as well as a small black cross in the middle. In rapid succession and in clockwise pattern, each dot in the circle briefly disappears. I see them as green. Do you see them as green?
Oh, no, I see them as like, a light magenta. You see them as green?
Look like
I
the one
see.
that disappears. Do you see the one moving like
I
this?
mean, I see them, like but what I'm wondering is, like, why they're actually disappearing, moving around. I mean, like,
Yeah, I think there's only one that disappears at a time.
Kyle Rad sees them
And
as green too. He sees lime green.
but so when I look away from it, it looks like the background color. It looks gray. But then when I look straight at the one that's disappearing, it looks green. That's
Oh,
weird.
interesting. That's not happening to me. I just see the gray. I just see the background color. It disappears completely.
Oh wow, okay.
Right. Oh, focus on
That's
the black cross.
interesting.
Okay. Meg says to focus on the black cross.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, and that now I see the green. Oh, oh,
Okay. Yeah, when I look at the
oh.
wow,
I s
okay.
Yeah,
That
so if you
looks it looks like a very different green than when I look straight at it though. So it's
and
like two
now
different types of greens.
and sometimes it's just the green thing going around, and I don't even see the pink at all. Like, if I just
Wow.
really stare at the black cross long enough, the the pink completely goes away, and it's just a green ball going around the black cross, like, right now.
Yeah,
Okay, and then it comes back.
for
Oh, I've
me,
never seen that one before.
when I look at the cross, the pink doesn't. Oh, okay. The more I look at it, the more it disappears. The
Mhm,
pink.
mhm. Yep, yep.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just like like the green ball is erasing the pink completely, and then it flashes back again.
I know because I wasn't looking at it straight for so long, but when I look at it for more than a few seconds, like the pink completely disappears.
Exactly,
Wow.
same. Okay, so your Nightbot is, like, super crazy, like, you're not allowed to put any emojis in your
Oh gosh. So sorry,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kyle. Bad Nightbot.
I
Bad.
know, bad, bad. This is hysterical. Okay, alrighty. Oh, you got more? Yeah, Nightbot's being a Karen.
Oh. I know. Nightbot's
That's
just
funny.
okay. So
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen this one before. All right. So it says viewed as is. The whole left half of the rectangle appears lighter than the right, but If you cover the center of the image with your hand, you can see that the rectangles are the same color apart from the gradient in the center. So,
Ah,
like, put your hand in front of your eyes. Oh, it is. So, by covering the darker and lighter in the middle,
mm-hmm.
and then, like, the left and right are exactly the same color,
Yeah.
which before that it looked darker on the right side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yep.
Okay, let's see next. Oh, there's the dress one. So, okay,
Oh, all
let's
right,
see.
people. What do y'all see? You tell us in the
So
comment what color you think the dress is.
so it was gold and white or black and blue. What do you see?
I'm seeing. I've seen it more than one way, but I see it as gold and white right now.
Okay, same. Yeah, me too. I'm wondering what the chat sees on this one
Yeah.
because, yeah, I mean, I've seen this one so many times, and I always see it as gold and
Do you?
white. I don't think I've ever seen it as anything else. So I'm wondering if anybody else sees different.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
uh,
the first time I saw it as black and blue.
like a dark blue, or well, I guess
It's
it
like
would be
a
like a lighter blue,
it's
right?
like a dark cyan. I see an ugly dress.
Is it? It is
Yeah.
pretty ugly. It looks so itchy, right? Like it looks
Yeah.
like you will be scratching yourself all over.
Yeah. Yeah. Tan and white.
Kyle
Yeah.
said tan and white.
Hmm.
Ekis said blue and black.
Yeah.
And Fortune Thoughts said black and
Oh.
blue.
Oh, put up Meg's.
Meg said I used to see it as white and gold, but someone told me it's blue and black, and that's all I can ever see now.
Yeah.
And my husband says blue. So,
Meg is my daughter, by the way.
oh,
Hey.
awesome!
Hey.
Hello,
Yeah.
cool. So it says, um, so this is the optical illusion. The brain, so in is a this optical illusion has been attributed to color constancy, a phenomenon in which the brain makes inferences and adjustments to consistently see objects as the same color under different lighting conditions. People whose brains interpreted the dress as being photographed in daylight or in the shadows saw the garment as white and gold.
Hmm.
People whose brains interpreted it as being lit by artificial light saw a blue and black dress, studies suggested.
Mm.
And it says because of the original dress photo was overexposed, it made the lighting source unclear and forced the viewer's brains to fill in both the likely lightning source and the true colors of the garment. For the record, the dress is in fact blue and black,
Yeah.
which is really interesting because I've never like I see
Yeah.
gold. I see like a
Yeah.
brownish gold
Yeah.
color.
Yeah. Joseph, I used to be able to see blue and black, like I could every now and then switch it, but yeah. And sometimes it's like the actual picture that you see,
I'm trying
the
to see if
actual
I
picture
got
you
curve or something. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's kind of wild. Oh no, what's happening? What's happening?
All right, let's see this one. The scintillating starburst illusion tricks us into seeing bright rays of light. The illusion is made up of concentric polygons that form a series of wreath-like patterns. If the illusion works, you'll see bright rays shining through the intersection points between the outer peaks of each wreath. Our brain perceives bright dots at these intersection points because they're the thinnest part of the ring, and it then invents ways to connect the dots.
Oh,
Let's see.
fascinating. Oh,
Let's look
okay.
at it for a second. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm centering it. Let's see. Oh, okay.
It's moving too for me.
So if I look closely, I don't see the rays. But if I stand back, well, it could
Mhm,
be because my vision's bad up close. Um, but if I sit back, like I can see all the
mhm.
rays coming up
It's
off of the
fascinating.
center.
Yeah, it's almost like it's sparkling a little bit because the rays to me move a little bit.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
if you squint your eyes a little bit, you can't see them anymore. Well, at
I
least
still
for
see
me.
them. Oh, I do. I still see them. But just looking at the
Okay.
center, if you look right at the center of it, it's easier to see them. So,
Yeah, that's super interesting.
yep.
Cause like they're not,
Yeah.
cause they're not really there apparently, according to the text.
The rats. Somebody said the rats were moving, but it's they meant rays. No, Jay's giving him a hard time now.
Yeah, master splinter appears. Rats.
All right, now you.
Uh,
Oh yeah, I've seen this is a common one. What you had some audio ones too, right?
oh yeah, I did. Okay, these are like a little bit different. What do we see here?
Okay, give us a second.
They're like, are all the lines supposed to be the same color?
I think that it's supposed maybe it's supposed to make it really. Oh, some of the spheres seem to be above the lines and some seem to be below, maybe?
Yeah, they're like sort of in between the lines. Let's see what the text says. Confetti spheres is an illusionary image that dupes the human brain into seeing different colored spheres that are in fact all the same shade of beige. What?
What? The
Wait, are
spheres are
they
all the same
all?
color?
Are you serious?
What you talking about, Willis?
What?
And you can't make your brain see it differently. You can't make your brain see the colors. The lines going through the spheres are different colors.
So they're making it.
And
They're
so it makes
making the
this
background ones, the background spheres seem like they're closer to the well the blue, the ones with the blue lines, I don't see them as bluish, I see them as tan.
kind of bluish tan to me.
Yeah, but then the ones with the green lines over them, I see them as more green, and the ones
And the
with the red
red.
line almost look like orange, orangey,
Yeah.
reddish pink, maybe
Oh.
pink.
Is anybody colorblind? Do they see a difference with the red and the green? They're all
I had to buy this say they're all key balls.
Yeah, okay.
um
Yeah, they do. The lines going through the spheres are a different
yeah.
color. And the spheres are a different color, but they're not a different color. The spheres are which
Waitress. Wait.
That's too funny. Forging thought get off the stage.
Curvature
You gotta get a
blind.
new nightbot.
Oh
Being
gosh,
a
is
Karen
it?
again. That's too funny because of the cap.
Oh, because
The
I guess
capital letters,
because they
probably.
typed it in all caps. Yeah,
Oh
I'm
boy.
sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to go and edit Nightbot to behave.
Calm down. It.
Okay, so this one says. Alright, let's look at it first, and then we'll read what it says.
Oh, okay.
So like, are they all?
What is
Oh,
happening?
I
It
my
is.
Cause like the ones that are rounded, whenever I look a different way, they look straight, and then the straight ones look curved. It's like they change shapes whenever we try to focus in a different.
Yeah, and the light and the dark, like And they keep blurring and going back clear again to me.
Yeah, with the
I don't
ones that
like it.
are
I'm
over
gonna
the
have a headache
black.
by the time we're done with this.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Maybe
I'm
I
teasing. I'm teasing. I'm kidding.
so the one on the bottom corner with the black background, if I stare at it for a minute, they all look rounded, curved. But then if I look away and look back, I realize that some of them are straight.
Yes, that is happening. It is trippy.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
is trippy because it's like every other one is straight or curved, but then all of them in the black are curvy, but then they're not. And in the white, they're curvy, but then they're not. Whoa. Explain it. Explain it. What does it mean? How does this happen?
All right. It says the curvature blindness illusion demonstrates how humans can perceive a wavy line as an angular zigzag. In the image above, all of the lines are the same
What?
wavy shape. Are you? No, no,
No way.
no. You're lying to me. It says, but half of them appear to be zigzagging in the gray section.
Yes.
Um,
Half of them appear to be zigzaggy in the gray section. The brain has a separate mechanism for identifying curved and angular shapes, and the perception of the angles may take priority when they compete in the curvature blindness illusion.
wow.
Oh, Joseph's asking if you can zoom in on the zigzagging. Can you
Um,
see it goes
zoom
blurry?
in.
Is it
Maybe.
is it going blurry and then clear again for anybody? Because that or
Oh,
is that just my
sorry.
contact lenses?
It's trying to change the. Okay. I mean, that's probably as far as I can zoom in.
This is very weird. This is
Yeah.
why do it do that?
Behave, brain.
Yeah. Even if you really all
That
I
is
see is an
very
empty wine rack. You're cracking me up, man.
Yes.
That's hysterical. Okay.
Digital.
Yeah. Okay. That's about all my brain can take of that one.
That's just like my eyes
My
brain
brain
holes.
holes, Chris.
Okay,
Yeah. Whoa.
okay, all right. Let me unzoom this so we can go back
Wow.
to the right shape. Okay. I mean, I think everybody's seen this one, the duck or the rabbit.
Mhm. It took me it always takes me a long time to see the rabbit. There we go.
I see them both. I saw
Yeah.
the rabbit first, but
Mm,
then when I say duck, I was like, oh, okay, I see the duck. Because
yeah.
the rabbit is kind of like looking up a little bit, and then with
Yeah,
the
it's like
ears
going
to the
yeah.
back, like
Mhm.
straight backwards.
Yeah. It's a crocodile.
it's a
Woo.
coco. It's a
My
coco
eyes are
duck,
still recovering from the other
right?
other
Yeah.
one.
He saw the rabbit in elementary school and cried because someone cut their ears.
Oh
Yeah,
no, that's so sad. That's a traumatic memory.
poor doggy.
Mm.
Um. Okay, I don't know if we can put this one in. That one wouldn't fit in the whole screen. Oh, that's like the one from earlier where they're like, okay, that's very trippy. And if you turn your head, it oh like sideways. This looks a little spinny.
It is.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same one as the other one.
I need to make a quilt like that. That'd be wild. I don't know if I
I
could sew.
know,
I don't
right?
know if I could sew straight.
I don't know. So it says that it's an illusion that we perceive movement that isn't happening. Everything in the image above is static, and yet the overlapping round objects appear to swirl. If you stare at any specific point in the image, the effect stops. A 2005 study published in the Journal of Vision suggested that most people's visual systems inferred the presence of motion in static, repeated asymmetric patterns like this one because the design invokes a pattern of no, not yeah, neural activity. Sorry, I thought I said neutral. Neural activity that normally occurs when an object is moving.
But why? How do it know? Why do it do that? That's the thing. Like purpose of what's the purpose
Yeah,
of
like
making something that's not moving look like it's moving?
right, because that wouldn't like keep you safe from danger because like you don't want static things to move. Okay, I don't know what this one is. We're looking at a
I've seen this before, but I can't remember what it is. I think the I can't remember.
hmm,
I think the square with the B in it is the same color as the square with the A in it. I could be wrong.
oh, but according to the pattern, it wouldn't be.
I know, right?
But let's see what it says. Both labeled squares in the checker shadow illusions are the same shade of gray. Okay, you're right. But the illusion tricks our brains into seeing them as different shades. Edward Adelson, a professor of vision science at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, created the illusion. The square labeled A appears much darker because it's surrounded by lighter squares, while the square labeled B appears lighter because it's surrounded by, by darker squares. The illusion of a shadow also adds to this effect. Let's see if we cover the middle up. Are they though? Like how do we? I'm trying to cover them up to see if they look the same. If we're not,
Yeah,
oh,
I can't make it make sense.
okay. If I cover like everything around B, which is like this kind of, then it does look almost the same shade.
It's
Very
kind of
close.
crazy. Yep.
Yeah. But
So
yeah, like you will have to cover all of the surrounding squares in order to not make the illusion happen because the squares around it are the ones that are making your brain think that is a certain color.
when I said that about the quilt, 14th, I said, yeah, that's what everyone wants. A throw quilt that makes you car sick. That's pretty
No.
funny. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
my brain is getting tired.
Yeah, let's do the sound one. All right.
Okay, let's do some sound. Yeah. Woo.
All right, let me find
Eggward
it.
was trippy. I couldn't look at it. Eggward's the one with the dots in it. Yeah.
Oh, I actually have a short video.
Oh, okay.
So, 1 second. Let's see if I can put it up on this. So this one you have to count. Uh, okay, let me get past the advertisement. Sorry about that. I don't have the professional. Uh, okay, so you're supposed to count how many times the ball is passed between the people only in the white shirts.
Only in the
Collective
white
attention.
shirts.
Yeah, let's see.
Count how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball. How many?
Okay, so how many passes did you count?
I've seen this one before. I can't talk about it.
I counted 14.
Okay.
Let's see how many
What about you, chat?
people
What did you?
in the chat.
How many times?
Let's see.
I lost. I lost count at like 8. 14. Good.
So Joseph said 14. I also counted 14 too. Chris said 11. Let's see. Did you have a number?
Me,
Yeah.
I said 8 because I got distracted.
Oh, okay. Let's see. 12.
Oh!
14 plus the gorilla. I mean,
How
like
many passes did you count?
You got it.
The correct
Have you
answer
seen it before,
is
man?
15 passes.
15.
I had it. No.
But did you see the gorilla?
Now we focus on the gorilla, but it's easy to miss because
This
there's a couple of people with long hair and like
Yeah.
they're also dressed in black, and so you don't really notice. Uh, Chris said there is no gorilla. It's a CIA lie. Yeah, funny.
Oh man. Meg, have you seen that one before?
Yeah, I hadn't seen it until I was looking for stuff to do here. So I
The
thought it
first
was
time I
funny.
saw that, I totally missed the gorilla. So
Oh, I'm sure, sure,
yeah,
yeah.
totally did.
Okay.
Oh wow. She hadn't seen it before, but she still saw the gorilla. Good for you.
Okay, good. Oh wait. Oh, okay. Here comes the video. Uh, it's like a sound, but it's a short video too. Okay. So say choose a phrase and focus on it. You'll hear that word or that phrase every time. So pick whichever you want and see if you hear that.
Oh, keep going. I want to see if I hear the other one. Oh
It's
man.
like, do you think it's actually saying two different things? Because so when I first heard it, I focused on brainstorm,
Mm-hmm.
but then even when I tried focusing on green needle, I couldn't hear green needle. But now, at first I focused on brainstorm again, but then at one point I focused on green needle and I actually did hear it, whereas before I wasn't.
Echo said I picked brain needle, and that's what I heard.
Brain needle. Okay, smart,
That's awesome.
smart.
Grain evil. Yeah. Okay. How can storm sound like needle?
I know. At one point I did hear it say needle. That's
I heard
crazy.
it say both. I did. I went back and forth a couple times. That is
Yeah.
crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Ooh, what happens when you close your eyes?
All right, let's try it with the eyes closed. Here we go. Okay. I think Ekus messed it up for me because now all I could hear was brain needle.
I hear brainstorm. That's what I heard.
Okay.
When you close your eyes, you hear the dress is blue and black.
Yes, yes, you did.
I think we are fooling our brains.
I
Crazy.
know, like, isn't that amazing? Like how we can
Hmm.
hear different things and see different things. And I guess I always wonder if I would be able to hear this because when the first what was it called, Laurel Yenny one? I don't know if you heard that one where they say Laurel and Yenny.
Oh,
Okay,
right, right, right. Yes, I did hear that one.
okay. So when that one first came out, I still didn't have my cochlear implant, so like I couldn't really tell. Again,
Yeah,
our senses drive how we perceive the world. And so I wondered if I could distinguish something like this. But it's so interesting, like if you like looking at one and looking at the other and doing it with the eyes closed, like how many different things you hear.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it it really makes you wonder about the brain.
It does.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up real quick my other upcoming shows just to put it out there so people know what's coming up. Um, so next week, which is Tuesday, I'm gonna have Felicia, who I met, sort of met. I mean, like in the chat on Free Thinker Fireside a couple of weeks ago, and she was so freaking smart that I was like, I gotta have her on my show to talk about whatever comes up. And she seemed interested in talking about ADHD because she has ADHD, and is very into science, technology. So we are. I called it tangents because we are gonna go all over the place.
Yeah.
And so on the 21st, October 21st, Eli is going to be on, and we're going to be talking about space and the cosmos, and probably covering a lot of stuff of astrophysics.
Mm.
And toward the end of November, I'm going to have Richard Gilliver, who's already been on twice on the show, and this is going to be his third time. But I just really enjoy talking to him. He's so smart, especially when it comes to the topic of consciousness and philosophical arguments. He's amazing. He's writing a book about both, and so yeah, that's what we're
Hmm.
going to be doing. So that's going to be fun. Oh, and this Sunday, I am going to be on Maya Atkinson's um her Sunday night show. We'll talk
Bad
about
Science Sunday.
sciences, about science Sunday. That's the one.
That's awesome. Yay.
Yeah, that's gonna
I'm,
be so fun. I was on once months ago, like maybe like 6 months ago or something.
yeah,
So that's gonna be really fun. I'm excited for that one. I don't know what
that's
the
awesome.
video is gonna be about, but
Oh,
we'll.
well, I'm gonna be on Bad Science Sunday on the 19th.
Oh yay!
Yay. Yay. I'm very excited.
Oh,
Very
okay,
excited.
okay, so it's the weekend after me.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's
Be
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, that's gonna
It'll
be
be
really
good.
fun.
That's great.
Um,
Well,
so
go ahead.
you know what? Which effect we didn't cover is something that a lot of people do, which is the placebo effect and the nocebo effect. So the placebo effect is when they give you, let's say, something that you really believe. Was that my beeping?
Your computer gonna restart again?
Oh no, I
And I'm
hope
gonna
not.
sit there going,
No, I think it was my insulin pump. Maybe did it stop
okay.
though?
No, 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 no. I'm teasing. We're good.
Oh, okay, good. No, I thought it was still going. I was like, oh my goodness, what is it?
No, it stopped. It stopped. Yeah.
Okay, good. No, because my insulin pumps sometimes will go off and do like a really long beep that is
No.
deafening. But I changed it this morning, so I was like, it can't be that. But anyway, so the placebo effect is when they give you something. It can be a medication, it can be a drink, herbs, I don't know, essential oils, some
Mhm.
type of treatment, and you already go in it thinking that it's gonna work, and so
Mhm.
it kind of does. It kind of
Yeah.
does because your brain is already wired for thinking that it will. And the opposite is also true, which is the nocebo effect. Um, Basically, if you're thinking, let's say with my kid, for example, my kid is super picky, but they're autistic, so like has a lot of texture issues with food. And so sometimes I'll be like, hey, why don't you try this? But they already go in thinking I'm not gonna like it, and so they try a bite and don't like it because they already went thinking into it that
Mhm.
we're gonna like it. And it can happen for health outcomes as well. Like if you go into a surgery or a treatment for a condition, and your mind is set and that is not gonna work. Like, sure, the the science, the medication is more than likely gonna do the work, but your brain is gonna fool you into thinking that it's not. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting the way that goes. So,
Yeah.
do you have any shows coming up? Anything
I
cool?
do. Tuesday evening, Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Dr. Kip Davis is going to be back on, and we're going to talk about Job because we didn't get to talk about Job last time, and maybe Isaac, and maybe Genesis too. But we'll be talking about stuff that he's talking about in his book. So I'm excited about that. And then Sunday the 19th, I'll be uh, on Bad Science Sunday, and yeah, so I'm doing a live pretty much every other Tuesday right now. Maybe I'll do every week sometime, but right now it's every other week. So this is that's coming up. I'm very excited.
That's
And just
awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
and if you guys haven't subscribed to Misinterpretations channel, go do that right now.
Oh,
I
thank you.
demand.
I'm getting close to 500. I'm getting close. So
I
we'll
know, me too.
yay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that ought to be fun. So there's lots of different ways that we can't trust our brain. Yeah.
Oh, so Maya saying that she hasn't been wanting to feature all women for Women's Month, and this is the first time that since she started the shows that she's known enough women to do that. So hey,
Yay.
if you're recruiting me, I'm in. Okay.
Yay. 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 That's awesome. That's good. Well, it's
Oh,
and if you
okay.
aren't watching Bad Science Sunday, what are you doing with your life? You need to go watch that. That's really fun.
Right, exactly. Okay, give me 1 second because somebody was asking for the link to your channel, which I am quickly gonna post in chat.
Okay.
So, okay, there we go.
Yep.
I should have already had it pulled up, but yeah.
Cool.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
BC was here, Pragmatic Crystal was here earlier doing the things, so
All right. Yeah, she's busy woman though.
busy, busy. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. That's fun. All righty. So yeah, our brains, yeah. So it's learning to be able to go, okay, now is it really like to be able to uh pause, right? When we think something or feel something or sense something, right? It's
Yeah, then there's more than likely, a natural explanation to it.
mhm,
Even though it may feel very, very real, like in the case of people who see hallucinations, right? Visual
mhm,
hallucinations,
mhm,
like people with OCD or other mental illnesses, where their brain chemicals, which is a great example of when the brain chemicals are not completely balanced, then you can experience these other things
yeah,
uh, around that.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's
yeah,
fascinating. Yeah,
yeah, it is.
my thank you for subbing, Forging Thought, appreciate it. The My anthropology professor, Mel Connor, at Emory, he described it as, well, basically the brain has a lot of chemicals sloshing around up in there. That's just the way, and
It
sometimes
does.
we, yeah, and sometimes we just can't do much about it. We have to kind of roll with it and accept it and try to understand it as best we can.
Right, yeah, do the best you can, and like we've mentioned the to the show, we can see so many different ways that our brain can be fooled, and so um, the mind is both brilliant but also pretty buggy. Like it will fill in the gaps, it will
Right.
edit your memories. Sometimes, like in your dreams, is a perfect example of how your memories can be melded together into really weird stuff that you wouldn't really even think about when you're awake.
Right.
Um, Sometimes he'll tell you stories that are not true. Um, but I would say that knowing this isn't a weakness. It makes us wiser because we can use that information to realize what may or may not be true.
Right.
And if we think about the ways that our brains can be tricked, then we can go and experience and meet the world with a lot more compassion and understanding, not just for our own experiences, but for other people's experiences.
Yeah.
And it can also help us to admit that we don't know everything, right?
Oh, speak for yourself. No,
Misinterpretations knows it all. That's
no,
why we
you're
have
not
her
right.
here.
Wait a minute. Is my brain fooling me right now? Yeah, well, I think that's one of the
No.
things I really like about your work, AJ, and is that in understanding the brain, learning how to quit fighting with it. Right? Like just brains are different. People's brains are different, right? Autism's different from ADHD, and somebody with both is different than not having any of that. And it's very easy for us to judge someone who's not like us because it's what our brain does, because we have to be like in group out group, right? So I really think and if you don't fit in, feeling shame for that, right? And learning that, hey, it's just a different way of being in the world, it's a different way of thinking. And that's okay. And how is it that my brain actually works? And how is it that I actually think? So I think that, I think that, and I appreciate a lot of what you do to try and help people see things like that.
Thank you. Oh, that's a
Mm.
question I didn't ask you because I usually ask people, although we did cover it a little bit, and I think you may have implied a little bit to how you think. But one of the questions that blew my mind the most when I first started on this was, how do you think? Not like what people think, right? But how, like what goes on in your mind? Is it visual? Is it text? Is it voice? Is it like an abstract? And apparently, there's people that uh, have something called aphantasia, which is like where they
Yeah.
don't have any kind of visible or audible thinking. It's more like, I guess, instinctive.
Right. Yeah, it's not with the we're not with the words or the auditory or yeah, or visual. Yeah. That 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 that's amazing. Mine is most I don't know. Mine's for me specifically, I think it's mostly auditory. I think and I talk about being very extroverted. Sometimes I'm so extroverted that I don't know what's in my brain until I get it out. I don't know what's inside my head until I get it out, right? I have to talk out a lot of what I'm thinking or feeling. So journaling and talking and just talking to the wall or talking to other
Mhm.
people, it was very is very helpful to me. But I have auditory noise going on in my head all the time. But I actually have auditory processing disorder, which is like ADHD for auditory stuff, for sounds. And
Okay.
so like the fact that the air conditioning is on in here is really bugging me. But I mean,
Mm-mm.
yeah, I know you probably can't tell. It's just little things like that. But yeah, and so I get concert brain, which is before we have a concert, the songs that we're playing for the concert are in my mind all the time, in my conscious all the time. It's like I don't know if you've seen. I can't remember the name of the TikToker or YouTuber does the shorts where she's like lizard, 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 lizard. Like it's going on in her mind. Like it's like there's this constant chatter going on. So
Yeah, that's really interesting. Mine changed a lot depending on how good my senses were. Like growing
yeah.
up, I was mostly visual, but then losing my eyesight and re- sort of regaining, I guess, my hearing. Well, it was never that good, but like improving my hearing with the cochlear implant
Hmm.
changed to mostly a verbal, like oral thinking style, and the visual became really, really dimmed. And it's what we were talking about earlier, neuroplasticity, how the brain changes based on the
Yeah.
input, which is why it's so important to consume information, to learn, to always keep learning, um, reading books, learning manual things that you can do, right? Hobbies and stuff like that.
Right.
Skills that can strengthen your brain. Um,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yep. That's why my mom taught me how to do needlework and handwork, like
oh, that's
to
cool.
crochet. She's like, you got to learn this now because you're going to want to do it when you're older, and it's much harder. So just learn it now, and then you'll be able to. So every
I
winter,
like
my
that.
daughter and I sit and we watch TV and we crochet because
Oh, that's so
yeah,
sweet that you passed
yeah,
it on to your
it's a winter
daughter.
thing.
I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. It's fun.
That's
So
really sweet.
yeah. So
Yeah.
keep your brain going and y'all stop fighting with yourself so much. Give yourself a break. It's just
With,
doing what it thinks it's supposed to do.
with yourself and with other people. Just
Yeah.
stop fighting. Just be
Yeah.
nice. Be cool. All right. So remember, reality may not always match to what we think we're seeing or hearing, but that's okay, because what makes us human isn't that perception, is our ability to, what we just said, to wonder, to do some critical thinking, to keep learning and searching for the truth. So always trust the evidence, not the claim. All right, guys. So this was really fun. Thank you so much. Remember, everybody, to go subscribe, like the streams, share whatever you can do. I'll see you around. Bye bye.
Hey, thanks.